So there we have it then. Lando Norris takes the win, and with it the championship lead, with only a handful of rounds left to go. Let's have a bit of a talk about it. I'm going to try and do this in one shot, but let's start off with Lando Norris. The only thing that could have gone better is getting the fastest lap. It could have been a Grand Slam. 30 seconds over Charles Leclerc. He got pole position. He survived the run to T1. That's all he needed to do. Max Verstappen just sailed past T1 and still managed to hold on to third. Leclerc getting second, it's good for Ferrari. I did say Ferrari would have a good day. Lewis Hamilton got unlucky with that penalty. Got unlucky being pretty much the only one to receive a penalty for any of the antics. And it was probably just because he didn't take the proper prescribed escape road. 10 seconds seems harsh, but I think it's standard practice in that kind of situation. And it was probably made harsher by the fact that everyone behind him just sailed right off the track as well. But in the end, he ended up battling with George Russell, or just about off the back of George Russell, thanks to that 10-second penalty. Take the 10 seconds off, he'd be in 6th, which I would probably say is roughly where he would have ended up anyway. The Mercedes, they were doing alright, but yeah, they faded a bit later on. Piastri climbed through from a disappointing qualifying performance. Maybe he'll do well over the final few races. I don't know. I think the final two, I think Qatar is probably one of his better tracks compared to Norris, and I think Abu Dhabi is one of the ones he's got more experience at, so those two might be okay for him. Sao Paulo might be alright, but I have a feeling that and Vegas are going to play more into Norris's books, which means Norris taking the 1-point championship lead. This is the best time for him to do it. Arguably the star of the show today was Ollie Behrman. Just fantastic stuff. Haas very nearly getting their first podium had Verstappen and Leclerc not tried to, stretch out their tyres, and succeeded. He was only 10 seconds off the back of Leclerc at the end of all of that, and just over a second clear of Piastri. I know people were complaining about the VSC that potentially deprived us of a battle, but I think it was fair to call it. It's just one of those things where, like, the commentators over here, they were just like, no, we shouldn't have done that. It's not fair. Scientist cars behind them all. Let's let them race. But at the same time, we're not here for the show. Trying to be doing everything for the show is what led to Abu Dhabi 2021. And, oh boy, the fallout of that, we still feel today. So, this is your obligatory Abu Dhabi 2021 mentioned by a Lewis Hamilton fan. Not that I'm butthurt or anything about it, but there you go. The points were rounded out by Ocon, who, again, was performing really well, just did a different strategy Behrman did play out, and Bortoletto got points at the same time as a retirement for poor Nico Hülkenberg. One of 3 retirements alongside Alonso and Lawson. Well, Sainz was classified but DNF'd with 3 laps to go. But yeah, the standings is probably going to be the biggest deal. 1 point between Norris and Piastri. Verstappen is now 35 points behind Piastri, 36 behind Norris. So he needs to be essentially in must-win situations now. Russell, I think, is still mathematically in with a chance. He's 99 points back. So yeah, I think it's still mathematically possible. Just, he needs to get a perfect run and hope that the McLarens don't finish the next race, or any race, between now and the end of the season. But, what else can be done? When you look at the constructor standings, 1 point in it between Ferrari and Mercedes, that's going to be a fun battle to watch, especially because Red Bull's only 10 points behind. If Tsunoda can get into gear, that is going to be a fantastic little battle to see panning out. When you look at 7th and 8th, Haas and Aston Martin now separated by 7 points, and Haas have jumped Sauber with that performance for Behrman and Ocon by 2 points. Alpine are pretty much last on 20. Williams are probably not going to get caught on 111, but anything can happen in F1, and it usually does. Thanks for listening, folks. Thanks for watching and joining. I know this is strange having this kind of one-take video. I don't tend to do these particularly often, but I enjoy doing them anyways for F1, especially when it's a late-night race like this one. I don't know what I'm doing for Vegas quite yet, but I guess we'll have to wait and find out, won't we? But then, until next time, which is Sao Paulo in a couple of weeks, it's bye-bye for now.